Hello fellow survivors, Zach here with a challenge video for you today. We are here about a month or so away from the next content patch, and I thought I'd do something casual for a change, which is hopeless rescue. Because there are a bunch of challenges in the Long Dark and they're all great. They're all really fun to do and they vary tremendously in how long they take and all that sort of stuff. And I have walkthroughs of all of these challenges except Nomad and Archivist, but they will come. And of course in a month or so, whenever the content patch comes out, the global wildlife will change, which will potentially impact some of these challenges and how difficult they are, although I don't think it's going to be a major difference. And I will be making tutorials for all of these, including presumably Hunted Part 3 if that comes out as well. But for now, I thought we'd just do something casual, which is walking Hopeless Rescue. Now, Hopeless Rescue is considered by many people the favorite challenge in the game. And some people really struggle with it. They find it very stressful that they only have 7 days to actually do this challenge. And it's very hard to find the time to just do it in such a short time frame. But I'm going to show you today that it's not that hard. You can just walk through it pretty much and sleep when necessary. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to do Hopeless Rescue, and I'm going to not run at all. I'm just going to walk the entire way unless I get attacked by a wolf or something. And I'll show you how it's pretty easy to do this. I might sleep if I need to, but I'll mostly just be walking. So let's hop in and do a walk through of Hopeless Rescue. Let's do, we can have Will this time since we'll be walking. Hopeless walk. All right. Alright, so first things first, we're here in Trappers. It is late, so it's going to be dark soon, which is unfortunate. We can look around quickly, see what there is. It varies what this loot is when you spawn here. Sometimes you'll find weapons, sometimes you find stims, sometimes you find coffee. It varies. Generally speaking, we're not going to take a lot with us. There's a revolver, that's nice.
Be too careful.
We're not going to take too much. Oh, broth. We'll loot in here before we go. Lantern is good, but generally speaking, we're not going to stop and loot too much. We're more or less going to loot whatever's in front of us, and then that's it. We can check the safe too, because the safe can have stims, which you probably won't be needing, but you never know. Let's just check anyway. Let's just see what we got. Was it 25 or something like that? 20 was 25, and then what? 25 and 50, something like that. So let's go 25, around 50, 52. Okay. Oh, okay. That was quick. Usually not that close. 52. I think it was 54 or something like that. There, let's see what we got.
Hope nobody needs this
boots,
anymore.
rifle. All right, so let's just sort out our stuff. We'll go for warmth. Drop that. Got some pants. We don't have a hat. Oops, I did it the wrong way around. I dropped the one I was supposed to wear. There we are. Okay, and then I picked up some stuff. We don't need all these matches. I guess we can carry all that stuff. We got a ton of food. We don't need the firearm cleaning kit, so we can leave that. We'll take the rifle bullets just in case, and I guess that's it. So, we're going to just take it easy now. We don't have a hat, which is a bit of a shame. So the way we're going to do this, we're just going to walk pretty much all the way to the summit. I will stop and sleep if I need to do that. And I will loot things that are like on the way. But other than that, we're not going to do anything fancy. We're not going to stop and loot the dam, for example, in like thoroughly. We're not going to go out of our way to get good loot or gear. And we're not going to do any fancy schmancy shortcuts either. There are tricks to this challenge. There are ways you can go out of bounds, for example. You can skip a large part of what's going on. There are several shortcuts you can take, and most of them are exploits, really. But we're going to just do it pretty straightforward. We're just going to walk all the way to the summit. We'll loot some things along the way. We'll sleep if we have to. Well, now we're just going to go for a stroll, really. Primarily, I probably want to sleep during the night when it's dark, just so it's more fun to watch, because walking around in the dark isn't that much fun. And I just thought I'd do this to show how this challenge isn't particularly hard. I think that what people mostly struggle with is not everyone knows Timberwolf Mountain as a map. I think most people find Mystery Lake and Pleasant Valley and stuff like that pretty easy, but Timberwolf Mountain can be a bit challenging. If you don't really know it, it's hard to find a route up the summit, and people spend a lot of time looting things, and then they take breaks that are very long and that sort of stuff. But generally speaking, you can pretty much walk it. There's a reason the world record for this run is like 15 hours or something like that. I've forgotten what the record is, probably faster than that. I did a walk run once where I walked all the way to the summit and I sprinted back from the summit, and I think I did it in 23 hours. And once you get to the summit, you can get from the summit, if you do run, you can get from the summit to the lighthouse in like 2 or 3 in-game hours. It's really fast because it's mostly downhill for one. But also, if you save all your stims and whatnot until you get to that point, you can just sprint like non-stop. It's like I've been in runs where I had like 8 stims by the time I get to summit. And then you can pretty much just sprint non-stop almost all the way back, and it goes really fast. We're going to walk it though, so we can narrate while we do it, take things easy, and just have a little walk here in the relaxing world of Great Bay Island and the Long Dark. But another reason I thought we'd take it slow, because challenges can be done quickly as a form of speedrunning, but that's only for like a niche part of the community, and just because you can speedrun something doesn't mean you have to. In fact, maybe it's fun to do the opposite. Let's do a walk run and just wait, it doesn't make walk run, speed walk. I don't know what the opposite of that is. One thing that I always emphasize in all of my challenge videos, whether they're walkthroughs or not, that I repeat every time, that I'm going to repeat again here, is that when you do these challenges, whether it's this one or another one, if your goal is to simply complete the challenge and nothing else, then don't get caught up with loot and your health. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what your loot situation is or what your health situation is, as long as you're alive when you complete the challenge. Because once the challenge is over, the game basically wraps it up and the run is over. Which means you also lose all the loot you had, you lose all afflictions you had, and basically everything resets. So when you finish the challenge, if you complete it while naked, or you complete it with the best gear in the game, doesn't really matter. It's over either way. If you completed 1% health or 100%, again, it doesn't matter either way, because it's over. So that's why it's important to not get too caught up in this sort of stuff. I just wanted to see if there's anything here. We get another revolver. Guess you can pick that up. And I saw a flare here. Could be heading against wolves. There's a backpack here this is sort of on the way. I would like to carry 2 stones at least. Sometimes more. Yeah, because we have revolvers. Not too fussed about it. But I like to carry 2. stones. One is used to deter wolves, and the other one is to lure them away. That's basically what it is. So we're just going to walk it. We're going to take a more or less direct approach, as in we're just going to walk the straightest route you can, more or less. We might do some minor detours and just go for a casual stroll. I could do it in one go, just for the fun of it, like no sleeping, all walking, which is perfectly possible to do, especially if you have coffee. But I don't know, it depends. The nighttime is less interesting to see, I guess, because it's so dark. But we can see. Either I'll do it all in one go, or I'll decide to sleep through some of the dark parts. Or if I get exhausted. It is possible to get pretty much to the summit without resting. It's just it's difficult. If you run, you drain your fatigue really fast. If you walk, it's much slower. But still, by the time, if you walk all the way to the summit, you will have very little fatigue left when you get there. Let's just see what's in here, seeing as we're passing through it. There's a hat, which is exactly what I was looking for, because I don't have a hat. So then we don't have to worry about frostbite. Now that being said, frostbite doesn't really matter. If I got frostbite, who cares? Because the frostbite will be a permanent affliction, and it doesn't matter that it's permanent, because when the challenge is over, that affliction goes away anyway. But it's nice to not have frostbite risk to worry about, just in case I were to grind through the cold and go low health, because it's possible that I'll end up just grinding through. If you want to make this challenge easier, coffee is a big help. Coffee makes it much easier. Another thing you can do is to just loot all the first aid kits you can, because they can have stims, and stims make the run a lot easier. You can basically save them for whenever you're by a rope, and if you're tired, and you can climb up that rope. So it's perfectly possible to get a whole bunch of stims. On Interlope, which I normally play, stims are restricted and only found in certain places. But here they can be found all over the place. You can find them randomly in first aid kits. You can also find them in safes. I think there are some around also. And the summit itself can have, I think, up to 4 stims, but usually it's 2 or 3. So you can get a ton there. Plus at the summit you get like an absolute ton of coffee. I thought I'd do a quick detour just to make a case in point. This trailer here has a first aid kit in it. We can just loot that. It's here.
Where's the good stuff?
We just got Aquapool. I'm not going to pick up anything else in here. It does help to pick up all the clothing you find, so just like look for clothing in every place you go into, just because that will make you warmer, and that makes the challenge a bit easier, because then cold won't really be an issue. But it's perfectly possible to complete this challenge in less than 1 day without stressing too much about it. But if your goal is to just experience the challenge and just complete it, then I wouldn't worry about doing that. Then I would just, sure, you can run and you can try and finish it as fast as you can, just so that you have the time, but don't be scared about, sleeping. There's another safe that I'm not going to open, but I'm going to check this first aid kit that's right here. Sewing kit, and septic, we don't need that. You can also take this energy bar. And I guess that's it. We don't need anything else. I'm not going to loot it really. We don't really need it. There could be loot in these lockers and things, but we don't really need it. So I'm only going to loot certain things. Oops. Okay, well now that we stopped, might as well loot this guy.
Wonder if this
chocolate
is any
bar.
good to eat.
Things like water and food, they matter in the sense that you don't take damage if they're not empty. Other than that, they don't really matter. Yeah, there can be tools, which you don't need either. And the tools are there. They are right there. Don't need that. There's load of loot here in the dam, especially on this difficulty. There's so much loot. So if you do want to do this challenge and take your time with it, just loot the entire dam. And you're probably going to find quite a lot of useful stuff. We got arrows we don't need. And one of the, how much fuel? That's better than the one I have now. You can carry both for the moment. Until you get heavy, it doesn't really matter. Let's check this one for coffee. I don't think I ever found the coffee in there. Let's open this one because I'm standing right here. Windbreaker and Parker. There you go. Let's put that on then. With walnut. Wait, it's the other way around, I think, isn't it? No, it's not. It's this one. And then that one. Yeah, that's enough. And I'm cold, but it's not particularly cold. Ah, now we're warming up, see? It's, what's the temperature? Oops. 1 degree. We don't need to carry this around. Okay, it's warm in cover and cold in not cover. Here there is an out of bounds shortcut you can use to just walk. What is that? I think that's down here. It sounds like it's closed, but it's not. You can walk across this area here, and you can skip this whole region. But we're not going to do any of that. There is one shortcut that a lot of people use, which is not out of bounds, which is pretty straightforward. You can just walk up to this ledge here. It's very easy. I don't think it's an exploit, I think it's just an intended alternate. You can just walk up here. More like, oh, okay, I messed up. But yeah, it's not hard to do. You just pretty much just hug the wall here. And then you're up, right? So then you skip that whole part down here. And that's, I think, is an intended shortcut people can use. It's not too difficult, but we're going to go this way. And there's a wolf around the corner here. Oh, he's going for the rabbit. Run, rabbit, run. Oh, I'm sorry.
Goddamn freezing.
Almost. And now we're just going to head to the cave. There is a cave, like a sleeping cave over here, which we could check out, but there's nothing really for us there. There can be a bedroll, which we already have. There can be some food, which we already have. There isn't really anything to loot. To make this challenge easier, the main thing you really want is coffee and stims, or energy drinks. Those are good too. Other than that, the only things that really matter is that you find good clothing. Because if you have good clothing, then the world is likely to be warm when you're out and about. And then you don't get cold damage, which is good. Which means you can traverse further. But even if you did this challenge naked, you'd be fine. You can just light a fire now and then, or you can even deliberately get frostbite if you want to. It doesn't really matter. In fact, that'd be an interesting challenge to do just for the fun of it. A challenge within a challenge. Maybe I can do that one day if you want. You can do hopeless rescue naked and with no loot. Like, I spawn and I drop everything I got on me. Everything. And I'm not allowed to use anything in the challenge either. Like, I'm not allowed to pick up any items, eat or drink anything, or whatever. Maybe you're allowed to sleep, but only in found bed, like no bedroll. Can you complete it naked and with no equipment? I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. It'll be tricky, I guess, but it's possible. That'd be an interesting one to try. Let me know if you want to see that. Naked, hopeless, naked rescue. I feel like there's a good title in there that I can't think of at the top of my head. Maybe like Nopeless Rescue. There's a good one. Yeah, Nopeless Rescue. Okay, let's go through this cave system. I don't want to use this particular lantern. I'll use the other one because that one has less. Yeah, also let's unload the worst of these pistols and drop it. Weighs a lot, you don't need it. You can see a little bit here, but not a ton. Just light this up. If I want to, I can pick up a couple pieces of coal from this cave, but I don't really need it. Loot this unfortunate one while we're at it. As we're passing by anyway. We can pick up 1 or 2 coal just to have the option of making a hot fire. But in general, I wouldn't worry too much about it. The thing with the challenges in the Long Dark is that they're all pretty much Voyager difficulty, which makes them pretty easy. The environment's pretty forgiving, the animals aren't too aggressive, and the loot is plentiful, and the weather is okay. So it's not too hard. If you want to do the challenge quickly and you want to be get the best loot possible, you can also reset it. Like, you can spawn in trappers and see what loot there is, and if you're not happy with it, just exit and start again, you know, and then go. I mean, who cares how you do it? Not like it's a competition. I'm gonna pick this up like 2 pieces of coal. The general rule, always carry 2 pieces. And now when we exit this area and get to Pleasant Valley, there's multiple options. What people who speedrun this challenge do is they often go to Signal Hill, which is a minor detour, but Signal Hill tends to have good gear. You tend to get coffee there and good clothing and stuff like that. Some people skip it though and go straight to farm. You can skip farm as well. There's all sorts of options really what you want to do. I think for me, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the farm. Then I can warm up a little bit in there. Sleep if you want to, but I wasn't planning on it. You can see if there's any coffee and maybe clothing. And then we can go to the plane crash. And the plane crash is good because it gives you a lot of clothing. So it's likely to make you warm, so you don't have to worry about being cold while traveling. And that makes everything so much easier. But if you wanted to do this challenge and you want even more gear, you know, yeah, then the dam will have quite a lot. And of course in Mystery Lake you can check out the lookout tower and camp office as well. Here I would in that case recommend going to Signal Hill, because in Signal Hill there's usually pretty good gear on this difficulty. An Interloper, it's alright, it varies, it can be good or bad. But on this difficulty, as in Voyager, there's usually good stuff there. Thompson's Crossing is okay. It's alright. Okay. Basically doing the hunted in reverse here. I think we'll probably walk through the night. Mostly because if I do this in one go, it probably will take roughly 24 hours in game. Maybe a bit more, which means that it will end roughly in the evening next day. So we can maybe try to do this in one go without sleeping, but it depends. It depends on the circumstances, and you know, we don't have to challenge ourselves. We're pretty much going through a stroll here. I'm going to give you information about this challenge and the game in general as we go through this and narrate continuously. But there isn't any kind of criteria for this challenge or this video. It's pretty much just a walk through of the challenge and how it can be done. The revolver is great. It's better than the rifle because, for one thing, the revolver is fast. It's a go-to weapon if you quick equip a weapon. So on PC that's the button 2. On console I'm not sure what it is, but it's something. And you'll see it come up very quickly like this. It's very fast. It's because you basically quick draw it. So it's a very, very quick weapon, which is good. But then if a wolf shows up, you can just, you know, equip it and bang, and then you'll scare it off. If the wolf is already charging you, you might need to hit the wolf once or twice. But if the wolf is around, or even if the wolf has detected you, just shoot the revolver. You're going to scare off the wolf, and that's great. You don't really need the rifle. I kept the bullets just in case, but you don't really need it. The rifle is just a more powerful version of the revolver, for this challenge sake at least. The rifle will kill animals way more efficiently, but since the purpose of this challenge is to complete it within 7 days, you don't really need to hunt anything. There's so much food to be found just by looting that hunting is not really necessary. So you don't need the rifle, you don't need the bow. Obviously you can do whatever you want, but you don't really need it. The flare gun is good though, because the flare gun is basically a super revolver. The flare gun will work against bears and moose, but the revolver won't. So that one's worth having, that's for sure. Okay, it's getting quite low visibility because it's starting to get dark now, and you still have heavy snow, so visibility is a bit reduced. But we can keep going. I have hypothermia risk, but we're going to warm up now here in the farm. By the time we've done what we need to do in the farm, we'll probably be warm enough. We can also make a fire if we really want to, just to warm up a bit faster. Which maybe we should do just to make water, but again, not really necessary, I guess. I guess we could do it just to warm up a bit faster. But let's equip again our other lantern, which we are not going to take with us. We're going to leave it here. And I'm not worried about matches at all in this challenge either. That's another thing I don't really care about, because it's the same reason as with everything else. They are gone at the end of it. So if I use 1 match or 0 or 500, it doesn't matter. We can start a fire here. Let me just quickly see this accelerant there. We don't really need to use accelerant though. This may be a bit overkill. Let's just use this, whatever the default was. And the fire makes it possible for me to warm up a little bit faster. But again, I don't have to do any of this stuff, but it's a little bit easier. So we'll just, just light the fire. Put the firewood on here. Got this skillet here. Is there anything we can do with this? Not really. There's a pot probably here. Anything we can do with this? Warm up the broth, sure. We can heat these things up to make things warmer. We can also let's just make some water. Why not? Let's water in both of these. Don't really need to do that, but we can. Oil, potato. I'm picking this up. I'm probably going to leave most of this because I don't really need it. But you never know. Where's coffee? Here's coffee. Very good. Coffee is what we're looking for. Let's also grab the toilet water in that case. There's usually coffee in this farm. There's a stim as well. Maybe we'll use that. If there isn't coffee, there's usually there's tea instead. I guess that's probably fine. We can go and have a look around if we want. Let's make a few things here. So let's what we're going to do is going to do this instead. It takes longer for it to get ready, but we can put more things here, and they won't burn either. So let's just put all of these things here. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to right click them, which resets the timer, and also they don't get burned. Do I have any other ones? No. But we can make some coffee here. And we can quickly check the fridge. Again, we don't really need to, but might as well as we're here. There's flour too.
I can always use more
Moldy
food.
venison, yeah, we don't need that, but we can cook it, I guess. Let's just quickly check down here. There's I think you can get a distress pistol case down here. Let's see if that's the case. Also have this first aid kit. Okay, another stim, see, that's the 2 stims so far. More oil. Accelerant, lantern fuel, matches. We're gonna drop a lot of this stuff. I don't think we need any of this really. Soda. Yeah, let's just see what's in here, if anything.
That'll come in
There we
handy.
go. Climbing socks. Getting a bit more. There's some vegetables, we don't need those. The other stuff we don't need. Let's see here. The coffee will come in handy because it will make it easier to climb and whatnot. Can make another coffee. Right, these are almost done. Make some more coffees. There you go. I might as well while that's boiling, we can check over here. You can get an extra coffee cup here on the desk. There it is. Coffee cup. Take that. And again, we're probably going to leave a lot of this stuff, but also check quickly. Water's fine. Yeah, there's sometimes some good clothing. There's a scarf there. I'm not even going to check everything. Here there is another first aid kit. There you got something on the head. Looks like a ski jacket. Yeah, there's someone's a rifle under the bed, but we don't really need the rifle, so I have to check the cabinet though. Here also is the same misc stuff really. Hey, work pants. And a flare. We'll take the flare. And I think we got more than enough stuff now. We don't need that one anymore. Let's do some inventory management once this is done. Okay, I like to grab a torch because it gives much better light. Make some more coffee. And I think that's it. We can also heat up coffees, but we don't really need to. And we can eat this stuff. Also warms us up. We got a nice full belly. And let's see here. We can take the can. Let's do some inventory management here. We're too heavy. We got way too many matches. So let's just drop some matches. Sounds like there's a blizzard out there. That's fun. We don't need most of this. But you never know. We got a ski jacket and let's see which is this one's better. Drop the jeans. And we got it'll be this one. Drop that, and then here probably the scarf is better. Yeah, okay. What else can we drop? We got tons of food. We don't need the flour or the oil. We're not going to use it. Or the potatoes. I think we're using most of this, to be honest. We don't need more than 2 of those. We can drop all of our sewing kits. And fishing tackle as well. And I guess that's it. And there we go, our coffees. Yeah. And then we can go. It sounds like there's a blizzard out there now, which is not great. Yeah, it's a blizzard. Oh, that's fine. I'll show you how we can do it in a blizzard then. So it's cold, but as you can see, our cold isn't draining particularly fast. It's, what, minus 19. But look how slow our warmth is draining, even though it's minus 19. A lot of people don't believe me when I say this, but there is a difference in how fast your meters drain relative to difficulty. Because they drain faster on higher difficulties. Minus 19 on a higher difficulty definitely drains faster than minus 19 on Pilgrim. If you don't believe me, you can just start a new game and then just pass time, and you'll see that you just drain slower. On Misery, it goes down ridiculously fast, like really fast. Like I will already be cold. But on Pilgrim, for example, or Voyager, it's much slower. I don't know the exact statistics of it or anything, but it's now it drains slower. So now it's minus 19, but I'm still really warm. Like it's really not an issue at all. I have the wind in my back, and you'd think that would speed me up, but actually the blizzard does not impact your speed at all. This is a detail that I didn't actually know myself. I only found out about it, I don't know, 6 months ago or something, by a YouTuber called Bashrope. He has these sort of detailed breakdowns of things. And there isn't actually wind in the blizzard. It doesn't look like that's the case, because the wind is obviously blowing in this direction in this case. There is wind, but the wind does not actually impact your speed. The reason that's the case, most likely, is because if you were to be out in a blizzard and say you're tired and you're walking against the wind, you're going to die really fast because you're going to walk really slowly and you're going to get cold really fast and you're just dead. And a blizzard by itself is already a threatening event that's really dangerous. So having it so that it also slows the player down, in addition, developers probably thought that was a bit too much. So that's probably why it's like that. It makes sense if you think about it. Yeah. So having the wind in your back doesn't actually speed you up in a blizzard, I think. Or at the very least, having the wind in front of you doesn't slow you down. Don't take my word for it though, I haven't looked into it, but it makes sense. As you can see, I'm walking pretty fast. But if it's not a blizzard and you have the wind against you, then it does slow you down. That's why there's a trait you can get, which is the Blizzard Walker. Yeah. So this is the route up. As you can see, I'm pretty much walking blindly in a blizzard, but because I know this map, I know where to go. Any of these hot? Yeah, this coffee is still hot, so we're gonna drink the hot coffee. And this warmed me up a little bit, and also gave me some fatigue back, which is nice. And we can still, even though it's a blizzard, we could still loot the plane crash, just because it makes it us warmer, which makes the rest of the challenge easier. That is to say, right now it's a blizzard, so actually it's going to make our clothing damaged and wet. But when the blizzard stops, we'll be fine. At this difficulty, a blizzard is unlikely, I guess, to last longer than maybe 4 in-game hours. It can last through the night. I mean, on any difficulty, it can last for days, but it's unlikely for that to happen. It can happen, of course, but probably, let's see, what is it now? We're like midnight is when it's at the top, so we're at like 10 in the evening now. It's like 10 p.m. This will probably stop by like 2 p.m. or 1 p.m. So here we are at a cave. We don't need to get in the cave. Here's a deer carcass. We're going to check these suitcases for clothing.
My fingers feel numb.
Particularly warm clothing. I'm not sure we'll check all of it, but I think we'll check some. Like I said earlier, you could just ignore this, but for the purpose of making the challenge easier, it gives you a lot of benefits. Just going to go to the top of this, which is up here, and we'll just check. And on this difficulty, there's a ton of suitcases, and there's a lot of loot in general. So there's a lot to go through here. We're going to go through the actual loot I find when we next stop, which I guess will be in like a nearby bunker, I guess. There's a lot. I think I missed one, but it doesn't matter. As you can see, pretty much all of the suitcases have something in them. So there's just so much loot here. I'm not going to loot the corpses. I'll leave the corpses. They can have loot too, of course, but I'm not going to loot the the cabinets because they have less chance to have loot. What I mean by that is, I'll show you. The like overhead storage compartments, they just have random loot in it. I'll show you. These ones here, the overhead lockers, they can have stuff in it too, but they're more or less just random stuff. So I'm not going to loot those, I'm just going to loot these ones here instead. And I'm picking up way more than I need, but I'll go and sort through it later.
What have we here?
That one had 3 things in it. There's some airline food. I might as well grab one. I'm not going to open these overhead lockers here. I'm more just going to speed past this. But over here there's usually a hat. There we are, there's our hat.
I could use this.
And a gold drink, yeah. Can also be a stim. And there's some suitcases. There we are. Because I'm heavy, we're draining stamina a bit faster.
I need to drop something.
But I'm not too worried about it. We're gonna head to this bunker that's by the climbing rope. We'll sort out our gear there. And then we'll continue. It's not too hard to find it from here, you just hug the wall pretty much. And then you'll get there eventually. If you're doing this challenge and you're in a blizzard and you don't really know the map, then don't do what I'm doing now. Stay put in the farm and just wait out the blizzard and then go. There's no point going out. You got 7 days to do this. As I'm trying to show you now, you can complete this in roughly 1 day, maybe a bit more than 1 day, let's say 2 days, by just walking and taking your time. Now if you can do that in one go by walking, then you can run a little bit and you have time to sleep, you have time to wait out the blizzard, you'll be fine. Just take your time. There's really no hurry. You're gonna hug the wall until it turns left, which it already did, and then you're pretty much gonna go straight until you either find a Hunter's Blind or something else that's familiar. Here's the Hunter's Blind. So now we're approaching, we can check what's in here. The rope to Timberwolf Mountain. We got some wood. We don't really need any of this stuff. I guess I can pick one up, but we don't need it. Now we're gonna go into this bunker that's over here. And we'll warm up there a little bit. Multiple routes to do that, but we're just gonna hug the wall here. This is not out of bounds, it's just one of 2 routes to get there pretty much. This is usually the route I take, but in reverse if I'm coming from Timberwolf Mountain. And then you'll eventually get to either some stones if you went too far right, or you'll get to the bunker if you're right enough on the left. So here we are, it should be up ahead. Here's this log that's fallen over. It should be behind this log, I think. Yes, here we are. Here's this bunker. Oh, there's also some stuff. We'll go in here though. And there's also loot in here, but we don't really need to loot most of this. We could. If you are doing this challenge, check behind you though, because sometimes there's a revolver hidden here. Not today, I don't think, but sometimes there is one, so just be careful of that. We got another stone lantern. We don't need to take that. There's a hacksaw. We don't need that either, because at this difficulty, there's always a hacksaw at the summit.
I could use this.
If it was lower difficulty, a high difficulty like Interloper, then it would make a difference, because we need to grab one to take with us. There can be one at the summit of the Interloper too. Okay, you can see a lot of this is frozen now, so it's colder. So you want to switch this out. That's better. A lot of these, let's drop everything that's worse. I would say, let's see, we have a light shell, that's warmer for now anyway. These are terrible. That's alright. That's also okay. Let's drop everything that's worse than the alternative. This is wet, so this might be better later. Yeah, don't need any of that. This is better. This is worse. 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 This is worse, surprisingly. This is a very good sweater, but it's just the condition is too bad. We can switch to these gloves, but keep the other ones. Sports shoes are terrible. Running shoes we could put on. And we can replace these while we're out in the blizzard. And we're cold, but yeah, we could warm up, I guess. We could warm up a little bit. Take a moment. Over here, we can also dry our clothes. What we could do is we could start a fire here.
Might have to drop some gear.
And we might as well use. Okay. There we are.
It worked.
And yeah, we can put a coal on here. It's fine. It's a blizzard. Okay, and we can also make some teas, herbal tea, why not? We can also heat up our broth. Okay, now, there's some revolver bullets here too. We can also drop all of our clothing that's wet. or frozen, it will heat up or warm up a lot faster. That's wet. This is wet. And that's wet. I think that's it. Now these also are wet. Now it will be easier when they are drier to compare them. I'm making some herbal tea just for the sake of it. And is there anything else we can drop over here? We can eat some stuff. We're carrying a bunch of stuff we don't need. Carrying too much food, if anything. Let's just do this. Eat the airline food. What else is heavy? What's the heavy? Yeah, sure, eat the dog food. And we got quite a lot of coffee, which is good as well. We don't need all this stuff though. We can refuel the lantern. Really poor condition lantern, but that's okay. We're gonna make the herbal teas. The reason we're making them is just because they give us some warmth, pretty much. That's it. These are warming up a little bit. Not a lot, but they are warming up. Then they'll be better conditions. So we can wait until we're fully warm, and then we can continue. Is there anything else? I think that's it. Water is okay, so let's do that. Let's drop our teas here. We can drop our coffees too if you want to. We don't really need to. We don't need to pick up the a pot either. Okay, we're almost full warmth. And I think we'll just not use any coffees here because we're not going to climb that far. What am I carrying that I can drop? Because I'm quite heavy. I don't think we'll be needing the pry bar anymore. We can drop that. We can drop... Oops. I wasn't going to drop the lantern fuel. Flares. Yeah, we can keep the flares, I guess. We don't need a rifle, but we can keep it. Here we got some heavy stuff, but it's not that heavy. We can drop the sodas. I think that's fine. And I don't think we need antiseptic, to be honest, but keep it for now. We don't need all this wood either. One is fine. Actually, just one stick is fine. We can drop some matches too. And I think we're fine. Now we're much lighter now. Okay. How are these getting on? Yeah, they're almost... Yeah, they're more or less. How's timing sucks. Yeah, it's getting there now. We could wait tiny bit. But I think we're more or less done here. Yeah, this warms it up. Once I'm full warmth there, we can just go. Yeah. Which is pretty much now. Let's pick this up, and we can pick all of this up, really. Okay, so now if you put on this is warmer, but it will get damaged in the cold. So I want to put on the worst gear I have now. Actually, a little trick for you there. Yeah, we're gonna keep all that stuff on. This also, I'm gonna put the jeans on. Yeah, this is all fine. Yeah, keep those on. Okay, we're gonna take all this stuff. I'm going to climb up this rope as here. And then when the my clothing gets too wet, I can take it off and replace it. We'll be tired, but we'll just drink a or use a stim when we need to. We'll be fine climbing up this in one go because our climbing meter is pretty full. Even if you get fully fatigued doing this, you'll be fine. Slightly closer than I would have liked, but we're okay.
My energy is just disappearing.
Let's drink one of our herbal teas. And let's keep going. And I'm gonna drink those teas just for warmth. I can drop by the Mountain Air hut when we're there, but now we don't really need anything. I'm heavy because I'm exhausted, but it's really not an issue, especially once we get to the summit. Just make a bunch of coffees, really. We'll probably use a stim to climb the first rope. Maybe we'll use a stim for all the ropes, we'll see. I need to have one spare. If you check all the first aid kits, you are likely to find at least one stim. But there are all sorts of... You can have 5+ stims. If you really want to really be geared up, you can always, instead of going to Pleasant Valley, you go to, say, Coastal Highway, and you loot stuff there too, and then go by the mines to Pleasant Valley. And then you'll have like a ton of good gear. Like I said, I'm walking through a blizzard right now, but you don't need to do that. You can just sleep through it, wait for it to pass. Yeah, it'll be fine. Okay, so we're in Timberwolf Mountain. There we go. So now in the area we need to go to. We're a little bit past midnight. It's going to be light in about 6 hours. More or less by the time we get to the summit, it'll be light, I would say. This path is pretty linear, so I'm not too worried about getting cold here. As you can see, now what's the temperature? Minus 35. Minus 35, right? And I'm still, if you look at my cold meter, or warmth meter rather, it's going down pretty slowly at minus 35, right? So you can be out in the cold for a pretty long time. Once you do get cold, then the difficulties are negated. Once you get cold, you start taking cold damage. And as far as I know, that's the same across all difficulties. The damage from your meters is as follows, roughly anyway. It's about 1% damage per hour for hunger, 1% damage per hour for fatigue, 2% damage per hour for dehydration, and 20% per hour for being cold. So if all of the meters are drained, you take 24% damage per hour pretty much. This is why hunger isn't such a big deal, because you just lose like 1% per hour, which is really low. But cold is a big deal, because 20% per hour is a lot of warmth that's lost, right? Quite a lot. So warmth matters a lot. I mean, as you can see here, minus 41 degrees. And we're still not cold. You know, it's just, it takes a while for it to disappear. We might as well though, seeing as it's a blizzard out, we might as well stop in Mountain Air hut and make another fire there. I should pick up a stick, but there'll be wood there. I'll pick up a stick though when I see one. As you can see, I'm heavy and I'm walking against the wind, but I'm not walking that slow, to be honest. There's a stick, but we can wait for that. There's the moose markings. There's moose markings! Okay, so this is where the moose would be if the moose was out. But the moose shouldn't be out in blizzards. But if it was out, it would be right here. And if the moose stomps you, you have to make a decision if you want to restart the challenge or not. Okay. You can complete the challenge while stomped. It is perfectly possible to do this challenge even though you have broken ribs. But you need stims. If you pop a stim, then it ignores your broken ribs. So if you take a stim and you have broken ribs and you climb the rope, you'll be fine. You can just climb the rope with a stim. So if you were to do this challenge and you got hit by a moose, which usually happens here in Timberwolf Mountain, you would need at least 2 stims to do this. You could make it with 2, but probably you need 3. Those are 3 ropes. So if you have that, you can still do the challenge even though you have broken ribs. If you don't have that, I don't think it's realistically possible. I think it's going to be too hard. This should be the cabin. There we are. We might take a little breather here, warm up a little bit. Maybe change our clothing. We're approaching now, it's like 1, almost 2 p.m. I think we can... Oh, there's tinder. There's always tinder around, isn't there? Where's tinder? Okay, well, let's go get tinder then. So we don't need that. Forgot to pick up tinder. Yeah, good enough. Another thing is that on this difficulty, there's a warm air bonus. So oh, here's I missed it. Let's just start this fire. I'll explain in a second.
Well, thank goodness for that.
Yeah. We can warm up this stuff if we want to. I don't think it's necessary though. Ooh, what was that? All okay? Yeah, it's okay. And you can see we got a lot of wet stuff here, but we can just drop this to cool it, I guess. Right, so in lower difficulties like this, on Pilgrim and Voyager, if you light a fire, it will always negate the cold, regardless of what the temperature is. You can be in -100, and you light a fire that is +2 degrees, and you'll still be warm. It just negates the area, and it makes it a warm zone. That doesn't happen on Stalker and Interloper, but because all of the challenges are on Voyager, you get that buff here too. More tinder. Because all of the challenges in this game are pretty much the Voyager. The only exception really is As Dead Sleep. As Dead Sleep is Interloper settings. Don't need any of this stuff. Don't need this either. What's this? Ski jacket? Ski jacket, yeah. Another lantern.
I think I can use this.
Okay, let's just warm up here a little bit. We can put the coal on. We'll find more coal, I think. Warms us up faster. Yeah. I can drink a coffee just to not take fatigue damage, but it's not really necessary. Alright, what can I drop, if anything? We can drop this wood, that's fine. We don't need all these flares. 1 flare is probably sufficient. We have enough lantern fuel too. We can probably just drop some of this. Let's keep it, you never know. Food, we got a load of food. We can drop anything of low condition. Like, yeah, let's drop all of this stuff, for example. Why not? And yeah, I guess that's it. I don't really need antiseptic, I don't think. We can drop that. Just to be a bit lighter. Right, so we might as well warm up a little bit since this blizzard is raging. And then we can head back out. Let's take these matches. Do you have anything I can make or should make? Oh yeah, we can warm up our broth as well. Seeing as we're here, we might as well warm up all of our coffee. If it wasn't clear earlier, when you place a drink next to the fire and then right click it like this, see now it says 8 minutes. If I right click it, there's 15, you basically restart the timer more or less, but it can't burn. It will always be warm, so you don't burn doing it. I'm just gonna wait until I'm fully warm, and then I will continue. Let's see here. But it's going pretty well, I'd say. The blizzard was unexpected, but I don't think it's gonna last that much longer. It's now, what, 3 or 4 a.m. So it's lasted about, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours. A bit longer than I expected, but I don't think it's gonna last too much longer, I don't think. I'm gonna drink 1 coffee in a minute. And it's a bit annoying that I'm heavy, but it's okay, it's not a big deal. I'm just gonna take all this stuff now, and we're gonna put on the warmest stuff from here on, I think. Doesn't have to be that optimal. Let's see, what's the warmest here? That's warmest. And here it was. Yeah, let's drop everything else. Doesn't matter if we get... with the mittens instead, because the mittens are... These are warmer, but they weigh a ton more, so cargo pants are better. The mittens weigh less, that's why I want to do that. These are terrible, so we'll wear these. Having socks, and that. And now we're carrying less things also. In fact, we can almost be not heavy by just walking around. If we just drop something like a stone, for example, and maybe this sardine and a stick, 2 sticks, there we are, yeah. And we're fine. I mean, these ones will make us heavy though. Let's drink 1 coffee. And let's just go back out there. Now we're not heavy anymore. We're going to get heavy though, because these clothes are going to get heavy, because I thought the blizzard wouldn't last this long, so I was going to pretty much replace my wet clothes with dry ones. But you don't need to do that. You can do it naked if you want to. We're just going to continue to Timberwolf Mountain. There's multiple routes you can take now. Ravine, if you go via the Echo Ravine, we can open a couple of oh wait. Let's screw it, leave it. I was gonna grab the hacksaw because there is a container that I'm going to pass by, which I believe has coffee, but we're gonna ignore that. I can't be able to go back and grab the hacksaw. It's not important. Well, you can go into Echo Ravine where there's 2 containers. Or is it 3 containers? And you go via the 3-way cave too, with its matches. Or you can go this way over like a ledge, which will also take you to 2 containers, and then yeah, there's less loot, I guess. So going in the blizzard like this at night is more or less the worst condition you can be in. Arguably there is one weather condition that's worse, and that is to be out at night when it's heavy snow and windy. I would say that's worse than being in a blizzard. The blizzard is colder and therefore a formidable weather component. However, the upside of the blizzard is that there are no animals around. So it's really not that difficult by comparison then, because of the bears and stuff, bears and wolves and moose are not around, so you're safer walking around. Visibility is reduced though, so it's a bit harder to navigate, but if you know the terrain, you'll be fine. But if it's heavy wind and heavy snow, then visibility is really reduced. It's hard to see anything, and it's nighttime, and the wolves and bears are out, which I think is worse than this. Here I can barely see anything. I'm getting cold really fast. to drink a tea actually. But it's not really a big deal because the wolves aren't out. So as long as you are on track, you know, you're fine. This is a long blizzard though, I gotta be honest, I did not expect this blizzard to last this long. You don't tend to get, like I said, a blizzard could last for days on any difficulty, even Pilgrim. But it usually doesn't, but it can last for days. So when it started I was like, it won't last that long. But this is a long one. Oh well, it adds a challenge to it though, makes it more interesting. That it's a blizzard the whole time. At least you can see how you can navigate a blizzard in the dark. It shows you the power of knowing the maps. You know, it's pretty easy to navigate if you just know where the maps, how they are formed. And you got a decent like cardinal direction sense. And you'll be fine. Let's drink this last turtle tea. We're not going to sleep, so... That being said, I'm sure I'll make a mistake at some point. It's a deer carcass, so it's to the left of that deer carcass. That deer carcass is always there. We should be coming up to a bridge now. If I want another shelter, there is the Timberwolf Mountain bunker. Which I don't need to go into, but I could.
Can't feel my hands. In
case there's anything interesting. I'm sure our clothing is getting really, really bad now. Yeah, it's not that bad. The sun is coming up soon, which doesn't really make a difference in this, because it's a blizzard. If it's snow, it makes a difference. Yeah, there's not much visibility. One minor thing is if you look close, it depends on what quality you're watching this video in. You might be able to tell that in the distance I can see the outline of trees. So even though visibility is severely reduced, the shadow of the trees are visible in certain lighting conditions. When the snow is behind the trees, it outlines the shadow of the tree in its foreground, which makes it a little bit easier to navigate, and therefore a little bit harder to get lost. Up here though, you can pretty much go in a straight line. Once you cross that bridge there, you pretty much just go straight. Just hug the wall on your right, more or less, and you'll get there. There is a cave, which I think I may have gotten past, or is it this one? No, it's this one here. There's a cave right there. You can go into this cave and warm up if you want to. We're not going to do that though. We're going to keep pushing. Let's keep on trucking through the night. How long has it been? It's been 6 to 10 hours. It's been what, 14 hours? Yeah. And we still are just walking. I'm going to use my energy drink that I picked up in the plane. That energy drink I think is always there, and if it's not there, it'll be a stim instead. On this difficulty, if you go to the crash plane in Pleasant Valley and you go into that area before the cockpit, you pretty much always find a wool toque, and if you don't find one, there could even be, there's a balaclava or air wrap or something. There's always some sort of good headgear there, and there's always a energy drink or a stim. That's how that works. It's quite a long walk this, but it's fairly linear because there's walls on the right and there's also some walls on the left. So you just hug the wall on the right and you eventually get to this rope that's coming up here. There we are. This is the rope. The blizzard is still raging. That's why I prefer me risk. I'm fine. Let's use this energy drink, shall we? It also gives us calories, funnily enough. And we should climb this up. You can actually climb up these ropes while being fatigued, as long as you can get far enough. Because what matters when climbing, if you look at the bottom right, there's that climbing symbol, the hand what matters when climbing is that symbol and that meter, not your fatigue. So if you are absolutely fatigued and exhausted, you can still climb up these ropes, no problem. Provided that you have enough climbing meter to get there. Okay, so this walkthrough, as it were, turned out a little bit different than I initially planned, in that so far we mostly had a blizzard on our butt. Which, for one thing, means there's less to see because I'm just walking through a blizzard all the time. But the other thing is that I'm cold all the time and my gear is getting wet and heavy. So it's just, it kind of took away some of the points I was going to make about this challenge, because if this blizzard wasn't raging right now, then I probably would be warm or close to warm, and it would be much easier. But now it's just I'm cold all the time and I'm losing health. However, I'm not too worried about the health because we have 2 stims. And we can use those stims to regenerate some health and climb up some ropes. We'll warm up a little bit in the cave. And when we get to the summit, there's more stims. So I don't think I'm going to get hypothermia. It's unlikely. And even if I did, I think we'd still survive this, to be honest. Sun's on its way up. But, yeah. I'm not sure how much difference that's going to make now, though. Now we're on the upper levels. This is past the clearing, and we're heading towards the ropes leading to the summit. And there are 2 routes to take. We're going to take the cave route, because it will give us some leeway against this blizzard. But there are 2 routes you can take. And there's also a shortcut you can take to skip the wolves, which won't be out now anyway, because there's a blizzard. Okay, that's the end of the, that's the, whatchamacallit, energy drink. I'm just going to keep pushing. So over here, you can see the slope has changed. And there's a tree here, and it should be past this tree, I think. Yes, there's a gap in the rock. You can continue here and hug the left of the wall. You can also go through this little gap here between the stones. And this is a small shortcut up to the ropes to the summit. It's not out of bounds, it's just one of the alternative routes. You can go there and map it, and there's wood and all sorts of things. It's just another route to take, and there's no wolves here. For now, anyway. That might change. We'll have to see. Don't take my word for any of the animal stuff, because if you're watching this in 2025, basically, then this might be different. And now we should be at the junction. This is the junction, as I call it, where we have to make a choice. We can go to the right, which leads to Eric's Falls, but there's a bear in the way, but the bear isn't out right now. Or we can go left, which should be here, which leads to a cave by an area that I think is called Secluded Shelf. I think that's what it's called. And normally I always take this route, the left route, because you avoid the animals this way. You avoid a couple wolves, you avoid a bear. In this challenge I probably would have taken the other route, just because it's a bit faster. But because my health is low and we're in blizzard, I think we'll go this way. So here we are, the second rope. And to get it up here we can do a few things. We can drink a bunch of coffees, or we could use one of our stims. By now you should have at least 1 stim, probably more than 1. We're just going to use this. We're not going to sprint, we're just going to continue walking. And now we're healed as well. And this is fine. There we are. How is our hypothermia? We're about halfway there. Secluded Shelf. And over here there's a cave, which we can go through. Should be around here. There it is. If you don't have any stims, you can use your coffee. Or, before you get this far, Just sleep in a cave and recover all of your energy. That's just how to do that. Now we're warming up. Not a lot, but we are warming up. And I probably do want to grab some wood there because I might make a couple fires at the summit to make some more coffee. It would be nice to be dehydrated actually if we could, because then I can drink more coffees, but it's not a big deal.
I'm getting weaker.
That's fine. There's a stim expired. There is a flare. We don't need the flare. We can take the wood though. I don't think we need the wood either actually, if I'm honest. But we can take it. There's a crawl space here, I think. This is it. This is how you know you're going the right direction. You find this. If you don't find this, you're going in the wrong direction. For a few frames there you get 2 storm lanterns. Alright. There is some more loot in here, but we don't really need to look for it. It's really not important. It's a very small cave. We got some wood around here. I'm gonna leave it though. If you want some extra warmth in the blizzard, you can of course use the storm lantern. Storm lantern does give you some warmth. I think it's about 3 degrees of warmth. But then I mean, no, come on, if you're out in -40, does it really matter that you're out in -37? You know, they can be handy though in situations where, say, it's -2. Because like I said, once you get cold, regardless of your difficulty, you start taking quite a lot of damage. So it's handy to warm up in those cases. But if you're talking about already being cold, then it's pointless. Let's see if the blizzard is still going. We're not going to stop. We're going to keep going here. If there is a blizzard, doesn't matter. We're going to stop at the summit instead. Because the summit, we're going to loot a couple things. We're going to probably replenish our clothing. Yeah, blizzard is still going. Slightly more visibility because the sun is coming up. So now we have this sort of brown orangey glow, and that's the sun. We have a second stim, and again, if you were in this situation and you didn't have the stims, then stay in that cave I was just in. Stay in that cave and use your bedroll. There's a lot of wood and stuff in there too, and by now we should have a ton of food. So just stay in that cave, eat up, drink, sleep through it with your bedroll, and then climb up. And that's pretty much it. The fact that you spawn with a bedroll here makes it a lot easier. Now we're getting to the final rope. And the only sort of exploit or fancy shortcut or goating I'm going to do is to go down from the summit, because that one's so common and it exists for years. Everyone uses it. I'm not going to be an exception. I'm going to use it too. Yeah, here comes this sort of golden glow of the sun. Should be around here, the rope, I think. Is that it here? Yes, there it is. This is the final rope that we're going to climb. Let's just make sure my inventory is 19, okay. Use our other stim for this. And up we get some health back as well. There's also a cave at the top that has some loot in it, which we're not going to go into. There's not really anything for us there. We're just going to get to the summit, loot the stress pistol. We'll loot a couple other things too, just while we're up there. We might as well warm up. Maybe make some more coffees, for example. And just keep going. There we are. So, there we go. Our stims and stuff came in handy, but they were not necessary. They just make it easier to do this in one go. Here we are at the summit, the most prestigious location in the game. that is to say, because of the loot, it's kind of hard to get to. There are locations that are hard to get to in this, arguably. But there's tons of loot there. If you play survival mode, which I assume most of you do, I would recommend going to the summit as soon as you can, really, because it will give you a massive edge for the rest of the run. A lot of people have it as like a late game goal, which is fine, of course, but if you go early, you get a lot of loot, and it makes the whole rest of the run so much easier because there's so much loot there. Even on Interloper, there's a decent amount of loot there, although not as good. But on Stalker and below, there's tons of loot. So here we are at the summit. So first things first. Actually, let's just make a fire. We'll do it right here. Let's make a fire. Just to start warming up. I think the blizzard may have ended. Yes, the blizzard has finally ended, as you can see, and we're up here. Finally, the blizzard has ended. Let me just have a quick look here at my clothing. It's probably cold. Yeah, we can just drop this. We'll probably find better clothing. We can take a moment here to open some containers. We don't need to open all of them. Oh, I mean, we might open all of them, but we're not going to use all of it. Can I? Here we are.
This will come in handy.
Yeah. Anyway, so over here is the distress case. So here's our flesh, distress pistol, and 8 shells. This is how it used to be in the old loot table, and now you'll see that the goal has changed, and now it's to get to the lighthouse in Desolation Point. Here. This distress pistol usually doesn't spawn up here anymore. I think it can, but it usually doesn't. And we're looking for the hacksaw. Here's the hacksaw. So this one, we're going to open some of these. Let's just open one that's closer so we can warm up here. I think this one here has coffee. Let's put on another fire. I think it's this one that has coffee. Let's see if that's the case. Maple syrup. We don't need any. We might take one of these crackers because it makes us thirsty. Okay. See how much there is. So much of it. There's the coffee. See? Coffee, coffee, coffee. So much coffee. Tons and tons of coffee. Let's make some coffee with that. Don't think we need our broth anymore. We're gonna eat this salt crackers because it makes us quite dehydrated. We're not gonna eat anything that gives us hydration. Right, so there's that. There's the coffee. I think one of these has water as well. We don't need to open any of them really to complete this challenge, but while we're here, we might as well. Yeah. Oh, there was an energy drink there. We're gonna take that. We're gonna take the energy drinks. We don't really need the energy drinks though, but we can take them. Tools, lanterns. We don't need any of this stuff. I'm gonna drink a coffee just so I don't take fatigue damage here. One of these has water, so we'll open that as well. That's the water.
Goodness.
Leave the rest, I think. How's the coffee getting along? It's done. Oops. Wrong. I can actually drink the one that's warm, because then I'll warm up a bit faster. There we go. And I'm just seeing if there's any clothing so I can be a bit warmer walking about, really, so I don't take too much damage. That's pretty much what I'm looking for here. As food, don't need any of this either. So much food. Should be one with expedition parkas, I think. Yes, yeah, wool, long johns, hats, scarf. We'll take all of this. Figure out later which one's the best. There's so much loot up here, it's crazy. Oh yeah, we don't need any of this. We take accelerant, but we don't need any of it. How's this looking? Let's make some more coffee. Let's make a ton of it. That's my water. It's alright, there's more water over there. Let's check this one. I mostly only play Interloper, and on Interloper about half of these containers are not here. So I forget what's in them. Hammer. Yeah, we don't need any of this either. Leave all of that. But it's too much really on lower difficulties. Like you come up and you get like 5 hammers. You don't need any of that. Here's all the pelts. And then this one here has, I think, clothing. Let's see. Here's clothing, yeah. Expedition Parker. A load of good stuff. We'll pick up all of this. Yeah, more clothing. We'll pick up all of this too. I'll make some more coffee here.
I need to find some place to escape this cold.
Let's keep making coffee. And we're going to open these two, but we don't really need to, but one of them can have good stuff. One of them has medicine, which includes stims. We're going to pick those up. I think it's the one on the left, or maybe, yeah, this is firearm stuff. Flare shell, revolver. Here's the rifle, but we don't need the rifle. This one is medicine, so what we're looking for in this one is stims. Stim.
I think I can use this.
Stim. 2 stims. You can get 4, I think. Let's check this here. By the way, a little detail, I'll just mention this, is with the distress pistol, the only thing that matters is that you have 1 flare shell left that you use for the lighthouse. You can use all the other ones, so as long as you have the rest 1 left, you can use it. So don't be scared to use this against wolves. Okay, let's make some more coffee. And there was some more water here, wasn't it? Was it here? No. Here? No. One of these. Alright, let's just have a look at the clothing. What is the best clothing now, warmth-wise, is what we care about. The rest we can just drop. So I would assume it's the wool toques and or the balaclavas. That one's better. What's better here, if anything? This is 1.7. That's probably the best, I imagine, yeah. Then we have Expedition Power 2 degrees, 2.6. I don't think anything is better than that. No, here we have Fisherman Sweater, and we have more thin wools. That's even better. 1.1, even better. Here we have wool mittens. Perfect wool mittens. We have climbing socks. Yeah, and any more? 0.5, I guess that's good enough. I think we'll just take wet ones here. Wool long johns.
Too much stuff to carry.
And even better wool long johns. We got combat pants. Better combat pants. None of the... There we are. So now we can drop all this stuff that we don't need. We can just drop it in here. Easiest way to do it is to go in here and then click this move all to container. Boom. Now all the stuff I'm not using goes in here. And now you can see... You can drink another one. Just drink them until we're full. Fatigue, pretty much. Now we'll level up cooking, it's not funny. Okay, now you can see we are really warm because we have all this fantastic gear. Plus 20 degrees. We're warming up really well here by the fire. Hypothermia is pretty much going away. We're getting all our fatigue back because of the coffees we're making. We can also do a little inventory here. Like, we don't need any of this food, most likely. We can keep 1 or 2. You don't even need all this coffee, there's too much of it. We don't need the can opener anymore. We don't need the hacksaw anymore. We don't need the revolver bullets. Sorry, the rifle bullets. We don't need the revolver either. We are going to keep it just for the sake of it. We can drop our bedroll. We're not going to use it. Unlikely, at least. Torch. Not going to need that either. We can refuel our lantern. And that's pretty much it, I guess. We don't need antibiotics. Don't need painkillers. We'll keep one though, in case I get sprains I want to get rid of. Don't need all these matches either. We can keep it to accelerant. Look how light we are, huh? This is great. And then I think we can just go, to be honest. We can make one more set of coffees. But then I think we're just done. And if I go out here now, away from the fire, you'll notice that it's -2. I'm barely cold at all. Like, barely cold at all. And it's only going to get warmer throughout the course of the day. So this is fine. And we have 2 stims and 3 energy drinks. So I'm going to walk all the way there, because this is a walk run. But if I was running to get there as fast as possible, you know, I have all of these resources to speed things up. I don't know if I actually use them. Okay, I think we're going to go now. We're just going to go. I'm going to have my revolver handy in case something happens. And I also have the stress pistol, of course. So we're good. And yeah, let's just take these and then we'll go. I can grab a torch, I guess. But I don't really need one. Let's see if we can get a good one, though, just for the road. That's a good one. And then we can take these ones with us. If we need to, we can make more coffee. As you can see, it's so abundant. Now we're going to take the shortcut down, which is just down here. Here's a man also who usually has double maple or MRE. Arrow. That's MRE. And a stim. Look at that. Extra stim. Check this backpack too. But there isn't usually much to it, but you can check it. Guns, guns, guns. Water. Yeah. Then we're going to go this way under the here. And then we're just going to go down this slope that's right here. And go down. So this is not out of bounds, it's just a shortcut. I don't know if it's intentional or not, I think it might be. But it gets you down from the summit really fast. And if you are looting the summit, you'll notice you'll have way too much loot in order to get everything down. It's just too much loot. And doing it this way is faster than the ropes. Ow, that's our sprain. And there's many different routes you can take down here. It's just, yeah. This is one of those shortcuts. I always use it, and most people do, so I don't really consider this a fancy schmancy out of bounds thingy. There we go. And there we are. So you can see we're warm now because of the torch. We're walking, but we're walking fast. We're light. We got a ton of gear. And we don't even need most of this gear, but it makes it easier, right? Because once you get to the summit, in this challenge, once you get to the summit, everything is ridiculously easy after that. I mean, really easy. Because there's so much loot up there. Like this, as you can see, tons of coffee, really good clothing, weapons, stims, there's everything you need there. The only thing that's not there is like a bedroll, I guess, or cooking ingredients. But there's so many resources. Even if you had low health like this, you're practically guaranteed to complete this challenge once you get to the summit. Because there's just so... there's so many resources up there. I usually take this road here rather than the rope. Because it's just easier. It's faster. And also you don't... If you climb down that rope and there's a wolf there, you're like climbing into the wolf, which isn't great. I'm going to take some painkillers, I think. Just because the wind makes a weird noise. We'll use the bandages later. Hey, it's a wolf. We'll probably climb the rope down to the Crescent Valley. Yeah, so once you get to the summit, it's super, super easy. I have seen people, though, say that they struggled with this challenge because they took too long to get to the summit, and when they get to the summit, they get a ton of loot, but then they have like half a day to get to Desolation Point. And that happens, of course, and when that happens, then that's a different story, but you can still do it. I'm not going to run in this challenge. No, it's going for the deer. Can you do it? Probably, yeah. Yeah. Oh dear. Anyway. Yeah, so, yeah, if you're running in this challenge, then you can get from the summit to Desolation Point in like 3 hours or something. Especially if you save all your stims. So people who speedrun this challenge, they grind the stims, which I don't do, but it is possible to get to the summit without having used any stims, or maybe used one.
Need some first aid.
And what some people do, they get lucky and they get a ton of stims and first aid kits and maybe 4 at the summit or whatever. And then when they are at the summit, they are sitting on like, I've seen some people sit on the summit with like 8 stims, which is crazy, but it does happen. And if then you need to get to Desolation Point quickly, you can pretty much chain these stims together and you can get really far really quickly. Like if you just go down here, then get to Pleasant Valley where it's pretty much flat, just pop a stim and run until you get to the mine. Maybe walk through the mine because that's a bit awkward. Get to the coastal highway, pop stims, stim, and you will get it. Like you can cross coastal highway in like 1 minute. It's really fast, like really fast. So once you get to the summit, it's very easy, like very easy, including if you're in a hurry. If that does happen to you and you have like say 6 hours to get to Desolation Point, just drop everything you don't need, make sure you're as light as possible or at least not heavy, and use and just run all the time. If you have coffees, use those. If you have energy drinks to refuel your sprint, use those. And then when you need to use stims, and you will make it. Looks like the moose is now today. The moose is usually here, but it's not out today. But if it was, I'll be fine because I have the stress pistol. Here's the example of the wind, right? Notice that I'm light. I am hardly weighing anything. 17 kilos out of 29. I'm traveling very light here, and I'm walking against the wind, and I'm walking really slow. Really slow. But when I was in a blizzard, which is much stronger wind, and I was heavy, and I was tired,
I don't feel
and I was
so
walking
good.
against the wind, I was walking faster than this. See what I mean? Like the blizzard is mostly a weather effect that just, what it does is it pretty much makes you extremely cold. It reduces visibility and it makes your clothes wet and heavy, and therefore by effect makes you wet and heavy and cold. The blizzards are more devastating than wind. Sorry, blizzards are more devastating, like in general, than wind. But if you're talking about progress and speed, then wind is worse than blizzards. But yeah, so as you can see, it's going pretty well. I don't think we can make it under 24 hours, because I have 4 hours to get there. And if I was running, then the answer is yes, I could definitely make it in less than 24 hours. Because I have 4 hours to get there, should be fine. Just run, drink coffee, run, pop stims, should be fine. But I'm not doing that, I'm just walking. So I think it'll take a bit longer, maybe 6 hours or something. So it'll be there by the time the sun sets, more or less. Which is fine. If I really wanted, just for the sake of it, to do this challenge in less than 24 hours by walking, and I could, of course, then you just skip some of the stops I did. Like I stopped a few times to make coffee and warm up and that sort of thing, and I didn't have to do those things. Well, I would argue I would have to do a couple of those things to not freeze to death. But I could have done those faster. I could have picked up more coal to make faster fires and so on. So if you really wanted to do this challenge in 24 hours or less with walking, then yeah, that's perfectly possible. Sometimes also things are out of your control. Like I had a blizzard now that lasted a really long time. Like I said that I think it will last about 4 hours, but it stopped a little bit after dawn, so it lasted, I'm not sure, I would say maybe 10 hours. Quite a long blizzard. Lasted pretty much the entire night. Yeah, about 10 hours, maybe a bit longer, I'm not sure exactly. But that lasted a while. And now, of course, the wind is against me, so I'm walking slower. There's all these things that happen, all of these things. And some of these people grind these things, like they'll reset. People will like respawn. They'll load into trappers, see what's in trappers, and if the loot isn't good enough, if they didn't get coffee or guns or whatever they wanted, then they restart. Then they go outside, and if the wind is against them, restart again. So there's that. Okay.
I need some first aid soon.
So here we are back in Pleasant Valley, and we are now going to remove ourselves from familiar territory. There is a shortcut to get down here without using the rope. I'm not going to do it because I show it in pretty much every video I do. But I'm going to minimize gimmicky stuff this time. Some of it will still do though, of course. But you can just go to the right here and pretty much just shimmy down through the cracks and you can get down without a rope. We're going to go down here though. Oh, I have sprains. That's fine. We're going to do it the old-fashioned way. By climbing. We can go in and warm up in our bunker if we want to, but we don't need to do that. You can also jump off the rope if you really want to. I wouldn't do that though. But you can. It's the fastest way. You can jump off and you can grab the rope in mid-flight. That is one way to do it. Would not recommend that you do that, but you can. That was a quick coffee select. Okay. And now we are going to go to Coastal Highway. And then we're going to go to Desolation Point, and we're done. And that's it. There's a wolf here. Okay, I'm going to do something. I'm going to go drive without hands here for a second. I need to plug something in. Right. Go away. Just in time. There we are. That's it. I was driving blind with auto walking, but I had the headset, so I knew it was coming. I'm going to shoot one more time. No, he's running up there. You can do preemptive shooting. If you think the wolf is coming, this wolf is not going to attack me because he's fleeing and I'm too close. This wolf just randomly ran away. But you can do preemptive shooting. Like if I think a wolf is nearby, I can do this. And you'll see that nearby wolves will run away. Okay, there we are. We're approaching winter here in Norway, and my feet are cold, so I had to put on a feet warmer, a cheap feet warmer. My feet were getting really cold. Okay, over here we're approaching now the end of obstacles. But there are some. Over here there is a bear. The bear isn't guaranteed to be there, but it can be there. So we need to get past him, and if that is the case, best use the flare gun. He's not always there because it depends on whether which bear spawn is active. I think there's like 9. I always lose count. I have to count it manually, but let's just say it's 9. There's like 9 possible bear spawns in Pleasant Valley, but only 4 of them are active at any given run. So you could be unlucky and the bear is out, or you're lucky and he's not out. So that's the whole thing as well. Unless that's fixed for this particular challenge, which I doubt, but I guess it's possible. But if he is out, he's in that cave right there. Don't see any bones, so I don't think he is out. In which case, we're more or less done with bear threats. There is a bear in Coastal Highway that could be out close to where we're going. But it's unlikely that that bear is going to be a problem. Really doubt it. The wolves, there's a few. There's a wolf coming up ahead. That could be a problem. But again, with the revolver and stress pistol, we're really not concerned. But yeah, over here we get to, I think it's called... I call it Deadfall Area, but Deadfall Area is Mystery Lake. I think it's just called Derelict Cabins or something. And here there can be a wolf, and there can be another wolf behind that wolf further up, so there can be 2 wolves here. Then when we get to Coastal Highway, we might run into 1 wolf, maybe. Really not a lot to worry about in Coastal Highway. In Crumbling Highway, we can run into 2 wolves. And in Desolation Point, we can run into at least 1 wolf, maybe 2. So wolf threats are still present, not many, but they are there. But post-summit, they should never be a problem, because we have the revolver and we have the distress pistol. As you saw, I found 2 revolvers, but even if I had no revolvers, we still have this. And as long as we have 1 shell left at the end, we'll be fine. So I'm really not worried about it. Here's a wolf. I can do a preemptive shot like this. And he runs away. Even if he's detected me, he will still flee. If he is charged, though, if he's charging me, that's a different story. Then he might flee, but he is not guaranteed. You might have to shoot the wolf if that happens. Yeah. So there we go. So we should be good from here on, for the most part. I hope you are enjoying this stroll of Hopeless Rescue. A chill little thing. Imagine I was sitting in Trappist and I get a radio signal saying, hey, you know, we need to come, we can come rescue you, but you only got 7 days. You're like, oh, that's fine. I'll just go for a little stroll. Doopy doopy doo 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 doo. So yeah. Pretty straightforward. Let's see. Okay, excuse me for a minute. The little one is waking up. Okay. The little one woke up. Okay, but yeah, you can take preemptive shots like that. If you know the wolf is around, and they'll run away. It can work. That does also work with moose. If you see a wolf, sorry, a moose in the distance, and you want to scare it off, you can just shoot, or you can throw a stone. As long as moose hasn't seen you, moose spooks really easily. They don't run very far though. With a bear, I think bears just go towards the sound. They're not really deterred by it. They're like, huh, who made that noise? And they go for you. You can take a shortcut over there if you want. Saves you a few seconds, but you can also just go here. It's easy to find this exit if you have to go to Coastal Highway and it's a blizzard. Just follow the road. Follow the road until eventually you see this mining road and no trespassing. You just ignore that sign. And follow this. And then this will take you up to the mine. And then you're golden, really. And you can see how strong our gear is, in that we are still not cold. Pretty close now, though. But it's, what is it now? It's -4, but I'm also out in the open. Once I get indoors, I'm probably going to warm up pretty fast with this gear. Let's see, this deer is just following me around. Yeah, that's Hopeless Rescue for you. It shouldn't be an issue from now on, even with low health. As I said in the beginning, at the end of the day, what matters is how... what matters is that you get to the end zone, and you're alive at at the lighthouse, basically. You're alive at the lighthouse with your flare gun. That's what matters. Anything else doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you are exhausted, if you are having affliction, if you are bleeding to death, if you have the best gear or the worst gear. It doesn't matter. So I didn't really loot too much until the summit. I dropped by the farm and I looted a few things while I was making coffee. And then I briefly looked in the bunker and the Mountaineer's hut, but I barely looted anything. There was very little looting until the summit. But the summit is a good place to stop and take a break, because you're probably going to be cold by the time you get there. And then you can, at the very least, you can pick up the coffee, and while that's cooking, you might as well loot the rest. And you get some better clothing. So unless you're in a hurry, you have no reason to not stop at the summit. You don't have to, but it will make everything so much easier. So just put down a fire, maybe cook something, and while it's cooking, open the containers, put in some better clothing, arm yourself with some weapons, get some good food in you, warm up, and then you go after. The summit will set up the entire rest of the challenge and make it very easy. So once you get there, it's fine. So it's very likely that the clothing you find prior to the summit, it's quite likely that will be replaced by stuff at the summit, because the summit has such good stuff. Yeah. So here you can see now we're warming up pretty well, because it's 18 degrees. I can drink a coffee just so you don't get too tired. It doesn't matter too much though, because our inventory is 16 kilos. So unless we get completely drained of fatigue, we are not going to get heavy. We're just too strong, really. So we're not really too worried about energy right now. If I was running, then it would make a difference. Just check here, by the way, it can be a stim here as well. Yeah, there it is, yeah. These are sometimes here, but usually here. And this is one of the places it can be as well. An interloper is one of the possible spawns. There's another stim, so now I have 3 stims, 3 energy drinks. So if I was running, I will be running a lot. It's now plus 24, even warmer. Yeah. But yeah, so the clothing you get prior to the summit is likely to be replaced. And you can just take your time and get set, and then you can just pretty much walk it. So I'm walking now. But if I was running, then the fatigue makes a difference. So my fatigue meter, which now is about a quarter, it doesn't make too much difference for me, but there are impacts other ways. So when your fatigue meter is half full, or half empty if you're a, you know, what's the word? An optimist, but not optimist, but pessimist. That's it. If it's half full, then it slows down your weight capacity. So you can actually see the inventory now. You see it says 26.34. This number is meant to be 30. If I drink a coffee, we can just do it. We can drink a coffee. You'll see this number go up. See, now it's 28.68. If my fatigue reaches half now, or more, then I get full carry capacity. Once it's halfway down, then you start losing carry capacity. 15 kilos in total. If you have no carry capacity buffs, like no well-fed or Moosehide Satchel technical backpack, which is unlikely on this challenge, then it goes down to 15 kilos, and then you get heavy if it's above that. So that's one thing that happens, that your fatigue meter matters. It matters once it reaches the halfway point. At that point, you can't carry as much, and you get heavy faster, which in turn makes you tired faster and also hungry faster. So it has quite a few implications. We're just going to go down here. It's a nice straightforward slope straight down here. And the other thing is, if your fatigue reaches a quarter of the meter, so we're not quite there yet, but we were there earlier. If there's only a quarter left, then it actually impacts your sprint regeneration. So if you're sprinting to get to this challenge quickly, or to get to Lighthouse fast, the sprint regenerates at a certain rate. I don't know the numbers of that rate or anything, but it regenerates at a certain rate. Once you get quarter fatigue, though, it slows down. Again, I don't know the numbers. I never sat down and did the calculations of this, but it slows down. So it takes longer for your sprint meter to regenerate, which means you can sprint less often. So it has a consequence for that. For me though, since I am barely carrying anything, I'm walking around really light, and I'm not running, the fatigue meter doesn't really matter as long as it's not empty, so I don't take damage. And also, it'd be nice if, you know, I'm not heavy. And now you can see the power of this gear. Right now it's plus 10 degrees because I'm warming up with all this gear, so cold isn't really an issue anymore. What we got? 6 days, 26 minutes. Okay, so it's more or less what I said. It will be about, I think I said it will be about 6 hours from the summit. I think it's about right. It'll be about 1 day and 2 hours or something. Perfectly possible to do it in 24 hours with just walking, if you just time it right. But that's not the purpose of this though. I hope this shows that by just pretty much taking it easy like this, going for a little stroll, stopping a couple times just to warm up, check a few things, mostly just walking and having a little casual stroll. It really is perfectly possible to do this challenge with minimal effort, really. My health got low a couple times, but it was all within control. I was never in any serious danger. There were very few animal encounters, and I always had weapons if that did happen. And when it got cold, there were multiple opportunities to warm up by making a fire in a cave, going in an indoor location, and I skipped a lot of those just to get to the summit faster. But you can pretty much, if you wanted to, you can pretty much run from one indoor location to another. You can run from Trappers to Camp Office, from Camp Office to Dam, then to Signal Hill or the farm. Then you can go to the plane crash, or if you want, the barn. Then you go up to the bunker, then Mountaineer's Hut, and then after that there's only caves, but there's several of them. Then Summit, and then Mountaineer's Hut again, bunker again, the mine, and then any island here that you want, and then the highway up here. There's a basement. There's a lot of indoor locations here, really. So it's really easy. But I feel like they changed the rendering system. I don't remember it being this white at a distance going here before. See how things are kind of clipping in at a distance there? Don't remember it being like that before. And I have all my settings on max, like the draw distance is max. And I have a pretty strong desktop, so it shouldn't be an issue. I'm not really sure why it's like that. Let me know if that happens to you. And if it doesn't happen, why? And then I would like to know. I'm not sure. I don't remember it being like that before, but maybe it was always like that and I just forgotten. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this little casual stroll of a challenge. Just pretty much walking and taking it easy. We haven't used our sprint whatsoever so far, and we haven't slept either. We did, you do see the sprint meter, of course, because you use it for climbing. But other than that, it's nothing. That's not sprinting though, that's climbing. You can't really get around that. it is, if you really wanted to, it is possible to do this challenge without any ropes. I never done it, but it is possible to go up to the summit without ropes. I have done it in the past, because in the past there was a trick called the campfire trick, where you could put a campfire down and then you went up a very small amount when you cancelled campfire, but they patched that. It doesn't work anymore, but it is possible to go up. I only seen 2 people do it. Archimedes LP on YouTube, he did it. I'm sure he's got a video about it too. Archimedes is the king of out of bounds stuff in the Longdown. And then I think the other person was Ross Cooper. I think it was Ross Cooper. Sorry if it wasn't. He has a Twitch channel. You can go check him out. I think it's Ross Cooper 76 or something. I don't remember exactly. I think both of them were able to go up the summit. So that's possible. It is also, I believe, possible to skip the rope in Pleasant Valley. I'm not sure how you do it, but I think it is possible. Yeah. So it is possible to do this without the ropes, but you gotta do these strange goating tactics and some out of bounds and stuff to achieve it, and it's a question whether it's worth doing that. In this one, I wanted to do it as vanilla as I could, just keep it as straightforward, clean and simple. I only really did one goating, which was the one that was from the summit and down, but that one is so popular and so commonly used, because how else do you get all your loot down from the summit, that I don't really consider that like a wacky goat or anything like that. Okay, here we are. I'm gonna use this one this time, because these wolves can sneak up on you suddenly. I like this area. I love the grass in this area. The golden grass of Crumbling Highway. I think it's beautiful. You do get this grass in other regions. There are other places where you can find this grass. This kind of, I call it the golden grass, but I assume it's like some sort of beach grass. You get this near sand dunes and things like that. Or whatever, it doesn't matter what it is. You do get it other places too, but here it's just so prominent that I feel like this is like a golden region. I really like it. Here I gotta pay a little bit of attention, because there are 2 wolves here, or at least up to 2. I think you can have 4 wolves on Stalker, but usually it's just 2. And they roam like more or less the entire connector region. It varies a lot where they are. So they can be right in front of me now. They can be on my right. They can be up this road. They can be down on the ice. They can be on the other side. They can be all over the place. So you gotta be careful. These are among the last threats. I can hear the wolf howling. I think I heard it ahead, so I think they might be patrolling the woods right out of the ice. As long as we get past these wolves, we'll be fine. We can do a preemptive shot, actually, like this. I didn't hear anything, so I don't think they're nearby. Rabbit prints. Let's do another preemptive shot. Again, no howls. I think they must be out on the ice or something like that. This is the main use of the revolver for me in challenges. In survival mode you can use the revolver to hunt things, but in challenges I just use this as a deterrent. Which is the main use of this weapon, by the way. Let's see if we can cross there. We don't really have to do this. So there's multiple routes to get to the mine. Looks like it's up here. Yeah, behind the rock. Flame here. There you are. Yeah, you were lurking up here. You're gonna run all the way to the mine. Seems like it. In case I am trapped now in some weird hallway situation, I'm going to use this. It's always daunting when they do that, when they run straight towards you like that. It's really scary because it really looks like they're going to attack you. But you're safe. They won't attack you. If they're running away from you, they won't attack you. There is a rare chance, it can happen, that they do actually enter a struggle with you. When that happens, that they run into you or fleeing away, and that triggers a struggle. I've only had it happen once myself, and I'm pretty sure it's a bug, but I'm not 100% sure. It might be some sort of like self-defense feature, but I usually just ignore it. I'll let the wolf just run at me. I suppose if I was on day, you know, 200 on my run and I was a wolf ran away, then it ran towards me after, I guess I wouldn't take any chances and I would just shoot again or something like that. But in principle, it shouldn't make a difference. Okay, now we have done that. Now there's only really one, maybe two wolves left, which is here in Desolation Point. When you follow the road to the lighthouse, when you get to the path to the lighthouse itself, there's very often a wolf roaming around there. Sometimes two wolves. The first one is usually pretty easy to spot because it's open enough that you have time to react, and very often it makes its presence known. But there is a second wolf that sometimes can come from the ice, and you don't see it until it's too close. You can hear it though. You can hear it. Okay, here we are. This is Desolation Point. And here's also a goat you can use. You can goat down on the edge there to save time, right over there. Very easy. We're not going to do that though. We're going to do the old-fashioned way. If you want to see all these goats I'm talking about, how to do this, I don't have any tutorials on it, but I have videos that show it. So I have another Hopeless Rescue walkthrough from, I think that's from before the DLC started. I do show some of them there. I'm pretty sure Archimedes LP has a video that's like the most useful shortcuts or goating shortcuts in the game or something. I think they show it. So if you want to see them in action, I do have a speed run of this challenge from like 3 years ago or something. It's a while ago. I did this in, how long was it? Was it 15 hours in game or something like that? It's about twice as fast as this. And in that one I use all of the shortcuts, I think. So if you want to know a lot of the shortcuts I've been talking about, how to goat past some of the ropes and skip this or that, you can check that video out and it will tell it, it will show it. That one's not narrated though. Back then I didn't narrate all my videos. Now I almost exclusively narrate all of it. And again, we have the wind against us. Come on. Come on. It's so slow. I hate walking against the wind. It really slows you down. So here, we have the last stretch now. And just a friendly reminder, be precautious, okay? You don't want to die now, right? That would be super annoying to do all this stuff. Even if you did it pretty easily, took you 2 hours to do or something. You don't want to die now. It would just make it frustrating, right? You're almost out of the woods, but not quite. So just be extra careful still. There are wolves in this area. The bear is not going to be an issue, it's too far away. Even if you smell, he won't be able to catch up. But there are wolves in this area. They can come from the right here or the left here too. Unlikely though, they're mostly up here by this like wall. And there's really 2 of them to worry about. You can hear the howls of one. Again, use preemptive revolver shots if you want to. See, that scared one off. It's very important to have a headset in this game. You don't have to have a headset, obviously. A lot of the beauty of this game is its aesthetic. Like look at these clouds, for example, in this light. Beautiful light, beautiful scenery. This is fantastic. It's just absolutely gorgeous. But there is a lot of sound in this game. It's very immersive. And if you have a headset, you hear a lot more ambient nature sounds, which for one thing is wonderful. It makes it very immersive. There's the wolf. This wolf that runs around here can be a real threat. So when you're crossing this part, you might want to have this weapon ready as well, in case he gets too close. But yeah, if you do have a headset, and I'll say I'm walking here and there's a wolf right here. If you have a headset, you can hear that wolf. You can hear the paws stepping on the snow. And you can hear, oh, something's happening. There's paw prints. You can tell, oh, it's on my right. So then you know the wolf is coming. Maybe you don't know exactly where, but you have a general idea. Then you're ready for it. I played this game for about a year. Yeah, maybe a year and a half. On PlayStation when I started playing without a headset. And I loved the game and everything. It was great. But the day I switched to PC and a headset, I was like, wow, game changer. One thing, I could just hear so much more of the game. There was so many more nature sounds I never noticed before. That makes it very wholesome. A lot of this game is the sounds in addition to the visuals. And also you can hear the animals approaching you, so it's a whole nother level of safety. But yeah. I wonder if I can shoot the flare up there and it will be there. Did I land in or did it go through? What happened to that one? Did it go through? I think maybe it did. Okay, hold up. Okay. There we are. We're at the lighthouse. End of the road. That was it. That was the walk through, as it were. And now we're going to light this thing. And we're done. We got a little bit more than 24 hours, but perfectly acceptable. Let's head up here. I wonder what happened to that flare that I shot. Oh, it's down there. There it is. There it is. As you can see, I'm almost hungry, but still got a load of stuff. I dropped so much stuff. There's just so much loot, good gear, and a load of stuff left here as well. We don't need any of this stuff. Excessive amount. Oh look, canoe washed ashore over there. And that one there. So yeah, that is Hopeless Rescue. Let's get rescued, shall we? And there we go. 1 day, 2 hours. Call it 1 day, 3 hours. Best time, less than 1 minute. That's definitely a bug. Definitely not correct. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little video. A kind of a walkthrough where I explain everything you need to know. But mostly just a casual stroll showing that you don't have to rush or stress about this challenge at all. You can just walk through the whole thing and you'll be fine. Even if there's a blizzard through half of the challenge, just walk, 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 and you'll be fine. Load of resources, load of shelter, load of healing. It's really no problem. And it's a good challenge. It's fun, easygoing, and it's a cool thing to do. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy the challenge, and I wish you all the best of luck in your own challenge run and your own survival runs. See you next time, survivors. Bye bye.